Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursaleen. Muhammadin al-Nabi al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Well, tonight we just wanted to go over a few notes here. And the first, of course, this is October the 4th, 2016. And the key word is focus. Because when we go back to Oakland, we're doing the work down and get it aside, so we probably go back next week, inshallah. We may change our mind, it's up to us. But the thing about going back to Oakland is, remember, we've been gone not a year, but 10 months we've been gone. We came back here. We went to Iran in January, end of January, and we haven't been back to Oakland. That's the longest we've ever been gone from Oakland, by triplets. And there's a reason for that. Because the enemies of Islam will try to usurp your time and your focus and your energy. And we wanted to prove to them several points. Not prove, but make a statement. You know, this time here has been one big statement. And one of the things is, delay is not denial. Delay is not denial. We should always remember that in our, sometimes we have goals and sometimes we have things that we want to do. For instance, you might have something you want to do with shirts and stuff like that, and maybe you might not get to that program you want. Anything could come up. You had a flat tire, you could have got everything together for that program. But sometimes something diverts you and you don't make it. But delay of that goal is not denial. See, when you, in spiritual terms, we may not know what Allah wanted us to pick up, what Allah wanted us to learn. You know, the only thing that we were sure of is that, number one, we are in control of our destiny, not you. Now, you have to remember now, they've done several things. They've, to go over this a waste of time. Not only destroying property, not only putting phony videos on there and everything that you can imagine. But what they thought was going to cripple our thinking and our action and control us would be to divert our funds. First of all, this has never happened before. There's no legal justification for it. And it's an open and shut case for, there are several steps to that. And each case each stage is an opening for us to sue the government and sue the bank. It's just open and shut case. Okay. It don't make no difference whether they was doing this to, like we would say in some of our flyers, you're going to pay us back for this, you owe us that, and that. Well, you don't ever know what they up to. Maybe they was trying to pay it off and in that way. Well, that's one thing. The stuff they was doing was so obvious that it was clearly a gift, but I don't think they was playing, and I don't think they was trying to be helpful for the last 4 years. The stuff they was doing. Maybe the other stuff was an afterthought. Whatever it was, it don't make no difference to us whether they tried to. If they want to apologize, they have to come in words and say it, because we don't accept apologies from behind a veil, like it's called gishawa. You know, like gishawa, gishawa is a veil, but some veils is like a screen, but you can see a little behind it, like some that you can see through the window. But they got other screens that are like, you can't see nothing behind it, but maybe you can see light. You can tell that there's light behind that veil, you know. We don't care what they're up to. What this focus means is that Oakland, when we go back to Oakland, we're going to deal with our agenda. There's certain things that we're going to do. Basically, our speaker system is speaking out, so we'll hit things like the federal building. And we'll hit someplace at least once a day. That'll be our daily schedule while in Oakland. We'll go to the Oakland Tribune. We'll put up some of our pictures and stuff and all kind of stuff right across the street from the Oakland Tribune, the local paper. Well, it's actually a regional paper. It's the biggest paper in the region. And we're going to ask certain questions. We show flyers, what's been going on in Oakland. We're going to ask the question, why we don't hear none of this from the Tribune? Like if we show pictures of the rock bar and presidents, and we say, you have people here, you're always writing about terrorism, Islamic, da-da-da-da-da-da, and you got the stuff going on right here. You know, the big flyers like Oakland and the Islamic movement, all of that. We haven't blown up like which we already do. We ask questions. Why you don't ever say nothing about this? What kind of paper are you? We'll do that over and over again. Pretty soon they'll just have to put something in there. You know, or the people gonna ask. The city hall, different questions. We said the federal building. So we'll be dealing with, of course, the banks. Now, Bank of America's worldwide headquarters is San Francisco, that big, tall skyscraper. Every time you see a picture of San Francisco, you might see that pyramid, but the other building you see is the Bank of America. So we'll be there. We'll be in front of Bank of America in Berkeley that did these transactions. Of course, the police department. The police department in East Oakland and the police department downtown. You know, where they'll be eating outside. They have all these complex of buildings. We'll be right there with our speakers every day. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, suppose they got some surprises out there. That's fine. But our focus is we're going to do what we're going to do. Okay. If there's some emergencies come up, we may deal with them, and we may not. It's up to us. But focus means that you have enough authority over your own life that you determine what you're going to do, not the system. Now you got to remember, this is new for them. They're not used to that. They're used to determining your future. they snitches, their scenarios, their this. And they scenario to death. They scenario all around here, every day, every other day, is one of their scenarios, all the time. It's like right over in the little building right there, what we used to call the annex of the studio. There's a big piece of sheetrock that's pulled down. I just looked at that today, but I spent some time fixing up that, the little this and that, nothing big. But I'm just going to leave it there. Why? Because this time I'm already on schedule. So I'll sit there, ain't nobody going to go in there, but I don't do anything with that. We don't have to, we did those things for a special thing. They were special. It's like when we built the extension on your house, remember? What happened? People pop up and they're gone for whatever reason.
Right.
They never use it, but that's what it was for the extension. Found this bigger, all right. Right after that, we built that. What is that? That's a studio, right? For our own programs, our own Masjid al-Islam news with big world maps in the background, real professional stuff, because we have professional video stuff. That stuff was 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago. As soon as we put the roof on and the doors and open up, boop, the people who should do that, they gone. That's 10 years ago. But they're professional, they camera work, they do it all right. The Brotherhood, physical fitness, well, books. People buying books. As soon as we build the bookstore, boop, you see one person every 5 months or so, right? What about the extension? I mean, remember the Brotherhood and physical fitness and all of that? The day we put the doors on the workout room, we got bicycles in there, weights, heavy bag, everything is in there. I mean, it's a nice little place. We was working out outside, if you remember. That's the old days, everybody getting a little older and your muscles need a little, they don't need to be out with a mist or a light rain and a chill and you working out and it's seeping through your clothes, you wind up dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
So inside, it's freezing in there in the winter and it's burning up in the summer, but it's nice, full workout room. Nobody hardly ever use that. I think you use it every now and then, right?
Right.
Nobody else ever use that. They don't use that. You would use it sometime before. But people, as soon as that's finished, no more physical fitness. I mean, the physical fitness people who was here, they find another gym or they do whatever they got to do, all that's over. Right? I mean, if you think about it, the timing is ridiculous. It's just insanity. It's insane. It's just don't, but we're used to it. We're accustomed to all of that, and it don't make a difference to us. Because, see, it's like stuff is so simple that people don't know what you be doing. You was just looking at the work right there, okay. Now, some people play chess. Chess is a strategy and everything. Okay, these little buildings are projects. What do you have to do with the project? You have to lay it out, right? You have to visualize what it's going to look like, right? You have to, if you don't have a drawing, you have a picture. Oh, this is going to be so big. You got to lay it out, the size. And the white man says, measure twice and cut once. And what the white folks say, I say measure 5 and 10 times. Now, the little stuff, we've been saving that project for a long time, but what do you have to do? This is simple, concrete, but, and number one, you have to visualize how you're gonna lay it out, what you have to do. You have to get the material, and you scrap up all the old wood for borders that you don't have to go buy anything, because you got all that laying around. And where there's a deep hole over there, that deep hole, we collect all the bricks and a lot of even tile stuff that's been around. You collect all the junk, because that's a deep hole. You're not going to go around and fill all that up with concrete? Heck no, you don't need to, because you're not going to drive anything over it, right? So you go get all the junk from around the yard, that's what I was doing this morning, and dump it in the hole. Then after that, dump some gravel over there, right? It's simple. Then lay it out, and then mix the concrete. You want it to be a certain kind, so if you want it to be smoothest, you just put a lot of concrete, but you put more sand and gravel. Or if you want it to be kind of hardish, you put more gravel and sand. So this one, you go to the side of the pile of sand, I just put more sand, because I want it to be, you know, this, when you lay it all out, then it's that sand will smooth it off at the top. Plus, with all extra concrete, it'll keep it hard and tight together, and you're not going to drive anything over that, so you're just going to walk on it. But the point is, you have to lay it out all in your mind first. It's just a simple technique, but when you go back to Oakland, you have to lay it out. You see what I mean? And you have to put everything together that you want to do. Now, other things may come up, but we're doing that project. That's why if somebody go in there and pull that down, I know they pull it down because I know that I had put extra screws in it. No, I just put extra screws in there. In fact, I put washers, those big round washers around it, then screw them in there. So it can't come down. I mean, but you could pull it down. It don't make no difference to me. Why? Because we're doing that. I'm not going to use any time. I'll use that for another project, maybe in 6 months or a year, whenever we want to do something, right? And we got let a whole lot of stuff build up, and we want to do some work. We'll do it then. It don't make no difference, right? We're not going to use it for now anyway. But the thing is since you don't play chess, they say you have to think at least 3, 4 moves ahead. The great players probably can think 10 moves ahead or something. So we have to lay this out. We don't play chess, but we have to think ahead. We have to build. The same thing with the movement. What do we want the movement to look like at a certain period? We have to put all that together, right? And then we have to mix it all up, lay it all out, and level it off, and there it is, finished product. All of that, this is 2011. I don't know if y'all remember Design Destiny, Design Future, Design Process. Global transformation and the proper methods of goal attainment. So we have our own goals, but we setting up what happened in Oakland is what we wanted to happen. This is 2011 here, that's 2-3 years before they start acting up. So we have to arrange, and we have to tell and set up, and they're arranging their fitna, but we're arranging what we want to do. That's why we never missed a step in Oakland. That's why we would go, we would come, and we'd go about our business. And it got so good that when they would erase or when they would steal or when they would do anything from our, so when we go out of the country, the government would have my phone and stuff like that. And I said, hey man, I said, when I came in here from overseas, I had 74% on my phone. Now it's 98%. So, because they're saying, well, do you have a phone after about the third hour? So, do you have a right to get my phone? But don't worry. Everything on my phone, I got enough sense. This is the 10th time. I leave on my phone what I want them to see. I'm not going to have anything in notes and all that I don't want them to see. In fact, I may put the stuff I want them to have right there on top so they get it. But anyway, focus. Oakland is our agenda. So when we go back, we're going to do what we want to do. There's one thing that we have to remember, this historical voice of resistance with the responsibility that that position carries along with the historical benefits that's happening right now. The historical voice of resistance. All the other voices we know are silent, they're gone, they're dead, they finished. Or they're just not saying nothing. If anybody happened to know anyone we would like to hear about, because we'd like to visit with them, shake their hand, just talk to them, you know, how they doing. But I don't know any voices of resistance. And it's not that we're not looking on the internet, visiting programs like we visit. We want to hear what people got to say. So we're the historical voice of resistance for this time. And this is a great honor. This is a great privilege. This is not work. This is like we always say. We wanted to go to this historical Super Bowl. Well, we're in it. When I went to visit some of the brothers yesterday, they were telling me. One of the brothers, the big manager, he was saying, well, I had dinner the other night with Zarif, you know, Javad Zarif, the foreign minister. He said, because the president had to go right back. Okay. But Zarif stayed another 6 days. So he just left maybe a week ago, something like that, maybe a few days ago. But he stayed another 6 days. And the brother was telling me, he said, yeah, I looked in the office, everybody was beaming. He said, yeah, man. He said, I was telling him that you spoke up on his behalf when the president was there. Because before I spoke, the president is sitting there, Zarif is sitting next to him. The UN, the ambassador of the United Nations is right there. And one of the other big shots. It just happened that I knew all the big shots at the front table. Now, when you go before you meet the president, they have either they ask some of the people to speak, or this time, like a few times, they have a request. You can request to say a few words. Okay, sometimes Mighty Brain them said something. Oh, what's her name? Them said something. Care, but they always say something. I said something maybe once. But I don't sign up for it. Everybody knows that. So when I walked in, and the ad was signing up, I wanted to see that. Then some more people. So I was just sitting there, and the high jumped into his lives. We are the #1 civil rights organization in America. We have 33 outlets, which they do. They have, it's either 33 or 13. But from what I heard, unless they closed down 20, it was 33 offices around America. That costs zillions of dollars. It costs zillions of dollars.
They ain't doing nothing.
Oh, they are, absolutely. They're doing worse than nothing. So, not that we call them and try to get to, we have the best civil rights case in history on 4 or 5 different levels. Government harassment, we could stack them up with that. It could lose the cases, denial of civil, all of that, we got that stuff stacked up. And we could go back as far as they wanted, we could just last 10 years or 5, whatever we want to do, but it's guaranteed. He won't answer the phone. I've called him, I know you've called him, right? Mm-hmm. He won't even call. But anyway, and we stand up for the rights of Muslims in America. I didn't say that. Then this guy from first of all, then the next island, Eli from Detroit. I don't know if you know Sheikh Eli. I've been knowing him for well over 30 years. He was Karubi's secretary. I'll be brief about him. Remember we was talking about the October surprise? Mm-hmm. I mentioned Rafsanjani, but the people that they conferred with, I told you last week where it was, maybe it was Rome or Zurich in 1990 or 89, something like that. It was Karubi went and talked to him, not Rafsanjani. Rafsanjani was denying it. The reason he was denying it was he knows what's going on, but he's letting everybody know, I'm not personally involved. Because for McFarlane to fly into Iran, no invitation, that the war was going on. It had to be a reason. The reason he was going is because they had held those, well, let's call them hostages for them. We know they're spies. And they helped they didn't put Reagan in office. Okay. But the promises they made, they haven't kept. The war is going on. They're helping Saddam destroy the Islamic Republic. Now they got some of the guys over a barrel. But they're getting messages from Iran, from Karubi now. We're going to blow the whistle, man. If y'all don't, you know what I mean? This is, you ready? We're at the verge. See, by 87, Iran had been totally cut off. When they agreed to a ceasefire, Iran didn't even have rocks to throw it. It was the cutoff by 88 was absolute. Mm-hmm. Even their friends, like what was called Yugoslavia at that time. Mm-hmm. You know where we have a smoke detector? Okay, the battlefield have gas detectors. Mm-hmm. You put them on the battlefield, they'll detect poison gas. Mm-hmm. And I'll almost tell you what kind it is so you'll know, put this on right quick, you know. Mm-hmm. But it was so bad because they were fighting in the Fao Peninsula in Iraq. Basra. If you understand the temperature, it's 115 to 125, straight across. That poison gas equipment that Iran had was all plastic. Can you imagine trying to putting that stuff on? The people was taking it off and just, you can't do it. You can't do it. So they had cut off everything to Iran. Finally, Imam said it's like drinking poison, but we'll accept a ceasefire. They basically had to. They didn't have to, but they didn't have it. So, what McFarland went there in '87 was, we're going to take care of you, man. We're going to do this. I'll go into all of what to take care of. But Elahi was Karubi's secretary. Now, I went and met him in his office, and these guys are so dumb, they're forgetful. All of them are forgetful. I was talking to Elahi. He's a big shot in Detroit. He's the one that they monthly rent is $32,000, and that rent they're buying. He came here. It was either 90 or 91. How could he get here? Because Karubi and them, Rafsanjani got a brother in LA, Karubi got it. They sending their people to the United States to take over the movement in the United States. Then, Elahi comes, plenty of money, he goes to Detroit, the center. He goes through his whole thing, and he tried to use me, of course, since I was the most famous guy talking about this subject. Up until a few years ago, I was on the agenda to let the Zionist, not a Zionist, he wrote all the books on, what's the Jew that wrote all the books against Zionism? Finkelstein.
Yeah,
Finkelstein. Okay, I had a program. He has an auditorium in his place that seats about 1,000. I mean, a nice auditorium. Roll back seats, stage, right? It's a nice place, including the Masjid. Finkelstein was there, and I was there, and Finkelstein come up and he was saying, my opinion is this on Palestine, and da-da-da-da-da. And he said, and President Ahmadinejad is stupid, and da-da-da-da-da. So, I told these people, I say, now he said a lot of pro-Palestinian, a lot of good stuff. But I told him basically, you should be, this man don't have nothing to do with your policy, you don't listen. I told him, you don't listen to no white man telling you about what you should do. And as far as Ahmadinejad being a fool, let me tell you something. So I started running about Ahmadinejad, and then he came back and he said, well, I agree 85% of what he said. But anyway, since then, what's her name, haven't invited me at all. And nastiness, he invited me to do a weekend program, either that time or the last time. And so he gave me a check for $150. That's when all the Shia ulama around here was insulting me. Like if I would come to the place raising funds, they would go in the desk, they knew I was coming, they would pull out a whole stack of ones, maybe $40. Here you go, Imam Musa. So I wouldn't say nothing. But it was insulting. They would do stuff to try to, they want to get rid of you, they want to, so they do, you know what I mean? Delay, delay, delay. The white man say cut once, I mean, measure twice. I said measure 15 or 20 times and cut once. But anyway, I'm going to try to speed up. Anyway, the cooperation with the West, one of the things was that they could send some of their homeboys here. Sheikh Elahi is always running his spiel. Then the next guy is from Syria. All of us trying to blame Iran. Iran has done a good job, but for unity and sectarianism, so I said I couldn't take it. So I raised my hand. Now, the thing is closed for speakers, you know, you gotta go before. So I'm letting them know, if you don't respond to me, I'm just gonna stand up and start talking. I mean, I know everybody here, you'll have to explain to the president what's going on, you know. All the others would know me, and they know this is what he do. So, but the big guy there, he wrote it wasn't at the front, he wrote a note to the guy that was moderating, and he told us what he told me yesterday. He said, let abdul-alim speak, you know. And so, I just blew everything they said out of the water. So these guys talking about sectarianism, I said, and Iran should be more open. I said, Iran has invited Sunnis and Shias from all over the world for 40 years, 35 years, 36 years. So if this, I say, as far as unity is concerned, we didn't have boatloads of unity programs, and none of these guys, none of these boys have been there. None of them have been to any of them. Now, what's the name? The Kashmiri brothers, they had second in charge of ISNA. He's there too. The president out there, what's the name? What do you call the place? Adam, he's there too. Everybody's there. Now, I don't know whether the brothers arranged this, because it has a smell of arranged situation. Because they know if they say, everybody know how to push buttons. You know, they know how to push buttons.
Right.
And I got a feel for when to respond or when not to respond. This time, so they told me, they said, man, and the brothers were translating for the president. And the president answered good, but everybody's aware of us. Like you could tell at the whole, you could tell when you're the star of the show. When everybody knows that there's a reason for all of us to be here, but the focus is on so-and-so. And some kind of way, all of them got on the show. So the brothers that brought Islam on board, they that brought, everybody's on board. Anyway, it don't make no difference, it's fine. But we have to do what we have to do. That's why when that come up, we responded. And y'all talk about Syria, Iran and Syria. And so I told them, I said, Iraq under Saddam Hussein and Syria under Hafiz Assad, Bashir Assad are all Baathis. Says, but when everybody was helping Saddam Hussein for 8 years of a war that slaughtered over 1 million men, and we don't know how many civilians died in Iran. Poison gas and all that. I said, nobody helped. Nobody helped. I said, the only country that was neutral was Syria. And then I said, do y'all remember Barat al-Mushrikeen, the programs we used to have? Barat al-Mushrikeen, do you remember Surah Tawbah, where it says, when the Prophet ﷺ sends a message to Hajj, you know, by Ali radiallahu anhu. Now, Abu Bakr was the Amir of Hajj, but he sent the message by a family member. Right. And read this, and it's the beginning of Surah Tawbah. We disavow all treaties with the Mushrikeen. You got a little while yet.
The first 40 ayats.
Yes. Yeah. Now you got a hot minute to go back and forth to get your business straight. But after that, it's finished. it said, but either the third or fourth ayat, then it says, except for the mushriks that did not fight against us, nor did they join with others to fight against us.
That's right.
Right?
That's exactly what it
I
says.
said, that's what Syria has a Quranic, Iran has a Quranic justification for their relations with Syria. And as usual, they look all ulama. The nigga didn't make it up. But that's the way they look at you like they never read the ayat before, that this is a brand new revelation. They know it's there. They never apply it to the real events. You see what I mean? And so our friend the ulama kick their ass. You could hear the people, everybody. They got the dumb team and they got the other team. After it was over.
Dumb and dumb.
All the ulama, they don't give you a high five. They do their stuff. It was wonderful. That's why I say, look, it's an honor to play our part. We're not on the second string in this. This global, yes.
Don't forget what you said about the brother you were talking to.
Right.
That when Zawad had got up to leave when you spoke.
Right.
Then he told him later on, he said, yeah, Imam Musa spoke on your behalf.
That's what he said. He said, I spoke on his behalf. That's what he said. Okay, here's the point. We're in the mix. So this note about historical voice of resistance with the responsibility that the position carries along with historical benefits. In other words, there are responsibilities that go along with it. Now, most people would think as challenges, as obstacles, as oppressions coming with this. We don't look at it like that. We look at everything that happens is that Allah is sending us a message, is something for us to learn, something for us to evolve, something for us to get bigger, something for us to improve. Everything that goes like this is the way we look at it. That they can't do anything that we're going to take as, oh, you're oppressing us. We don't do that, and it's been a long, long time, decades. We look at everything. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Okay. The other thing is, delay is not denial. We said that before. But there's something called counter manipulation. That is strategic response with what we call counter manipulation. Counter manipulation is they manipulate us. They do a little bit. The closer we get to now, the less effect they have on us, and the more we have on them. The tables are totally reversed. Like I would say, we have, if they have 25% effect on us, we have 75% effect on them. Where in the past it was reversed. You see what I mean? In the old days, when they did stuff, we stayed focused on our agenda. But they would have an influence on shaping our agenda. And now, they don't have 25%, it's just 10%, it's a lot. They don't have it. Because no matter what happens, like we have here, we're going to Oakland. We have our agenda. Now they can do some other stuff. It does make no difference. They could set the property on fire. They could burn some of it down. They could blow some of it up. I don't know what they've done since I was young. I don't know, you can check. They could have sold the property to somebody, anybody. they could fix it like that. Of course, we win. Just instead of suing for 10 million, we'd sue for 100 million. And, but I don't care what they've done. We already know what we're going to do. And we know this period, the last 10 months here, hey man, has been an explosion in growth. Not only an explosion in growth, but an explosion in clarity. And mostly it's been monitoring them. They don't like it, but we've been spending time on them. They haven't done nothing to us, because we haven't altered anything that we do. But I do know that they want us back there bad. They've been calling, last month it was, my ex-wife just had a emergency bypass surgery and
Heart.
Yeah, heart. So yeah. I'll go back when I get ready. It's not that I don't believe she had one. I don't. I mean, you can tell in the background. Oh, that stuff happens all the time. What was it the week before that? It was something. I don't even keep notes of all of it, but it's something to try to get me back there. Yeah.
You would think after all this time that they could at least come up with some new improved tricks, you know what I mean?
No. Those are new improved tricks. I tell you what it was. Our house in Oakland has a front house, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, and all of that. It's rented out to Section 8. I get a check for that. Okay. The back house, apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, shop. It's technically a 1-bedroom apartment. It's not listed on the house. It was built, it was old when we got there, so we moved there in 1955. So it was, you know when people build an addition onto the house? And so anyway, he stays there. But Section 8 sent an inspection notice. It usually goes to someone else that's there and takes care of it. We're going to inspect that. So that means, I know how Section 8 work with the police. I didn't see how they move, you know. So they had an inspection. They said, well, you didn't pass this, you didn't pass that. So then they sent me another notice the other day saying you didn't pass. We're going to have another inspection on the 13th. Well, I'm going to call them tomorrow and tell them, I ain't going to be there by the 13th. You can put it off. Because the little stuff you got to fix will take all at least a half an hour. You know what I mean? And probably they just wrote, anyway, it don't make a difference. But that's to get me back there. So they want me back there. For what reason? I can care less. We'll go back when we get ready. I mean, we control our agenda. The most devastating thing about this period is when they took, now remember, they didn't hit money for the last 3-4 years. They hit the money at the house, that's $50,000. They hit the money at the Masjid, that's $50,000. I paid another $70,000, $80,000 in fines and all that. This is cash money. You know, this is all within a 1-year period of time. Not to mention the fines here, you know, there's the fines that pop up, you know. Okay, it's no problem. So, Khadijah called me and said, yeah, you was bragging in the khutbahs about you ain't never been broke. Well, you broke now. You know, because they didn't transfer the money. out of my accounts, and they didn't take me off all of the accounts, except they put me back, I guess, after harassing the banks. Over here, they put me, I got 3 accounts now. 2 that I've been had and 1 that I reopened. But I couldn't do nothing with banking. They had a freeze. They had fraud all over my name, you know, so I just, anyway. So we, with Bank of America, they had froze everything, all the other fines. So she said, yeah, well, you broke now. I said, no, sorry. So now what we did was that with being cut off from funds and everything else, right now, we're 40% of what they stole out of the bank, plus paying taxes and everything else. We done paid 2 cents in taxes here. Remember, that's about 6 or 7 grand. Wow. So we didn't pay 14, 15 grand. Something in taxes here. Okay. So when I go out there, I look through the tax thing and see what we got to pay out there. That's without, see, that was because we wanted to show them, hold it, you don't know nothing. And that could have been, that is the best thing ever in recent decades that ever happened to me, because it improved my view of money. Although I had a pretty good one already. It improved it. You don't think that if somebody, see, they believe that something I taught long ago, if you want to make somebody want something, take something from them. And that thing you try to take from them, that's what they'll want. That's what these dummies, they listen and they, which is a natural rule, listen to. You know what I mean? If you got a woman and haven't been paying attention to her, and you see a couple other niggas looking at her and they looking at them, that'll make you more responsive. You'll say, hey, how about let's go out to dinner? How about let's go to the carnival? Hey, you want to go to the Lincoln Theater? You know what I mean? Because the other people is paying attention and you're not. And if you want somebody to pay attention to something, try to take it from them. You know what I mean? And that's true with women or money, anything. So they figure if we take this nigga's money. Now they done went to all the stashes. And it was pretty good. I never expected anybody to use dogs. I just never thought that people would smell out your money with dogs. It's simple. It's simple if you think about it long, yes.
Don't forget the $11,000 to sit.
Oh yeah, 11,000
cash money.
It's so, you know, it's so much stuff happened. I have to review. I really, you can't just, but that's true. Let me try to speed up. One of the things that we have to get used to during this period is to work with non-visible friends. Non-visible friends. That's friends that you have, but they're not, you don't expose them to any contacts. It's like leaderless resistance type thing. Oh yes, by the way, dear viewers, all of y'all that's watching these, we want y'all to organize. Let's call it Masjid al-Islam or call it As-Sabiqun. Don't call it nothing. Don't tell nobody that. Make it 3, 5, no more than 7 of you. In fact, keep it between 3 and 5 of you. That's people you've been knowing most of your life, all your life, and keep it, the numbers with that. But it is the silent or leaderless resistance movement in America. That's the stage that we're in now. We're in a stage of leaderless resistance, where you just keep watching videos and You keep training yourself and organizing yourself, and let these videos be a hint to which direction we're heading in. You don't call on the phone, you don't write no letter. If you want to send a nice little stack of money, just go to the post office and get what they call them, postal money order, and you can send those. But don't send no check with your name on it and all of that, And you can send all you want now. Or you can't do that. But anyway, the other thing is we touch others and others touch us. We touch, and we always have, a lot of people. So don't worry about being surrounded by people and people taking your money and lying and just doing all kind of unnecessary shenanigans. You remember the fat black man? Okay. I just thought of that. The fat black man. The fat black man, it was over 20 years ago. We was over there and he was wanted to help and everything. I said, no, the way you operate, I think you're the police. I said, and this man started crying. He is a good actor. You know the big buckets of tears? I never seen a man do that. And then when he go, I said, good God Almighty. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go down, you from Dixie, right? Down south. Why don't you go down there and take all the As-Sabiqun. Now, my friends in Dixie, the first thing they told me after a few months was, is he with you? I said, yes. Is he representing As-Sabiqun? Yes. He said, he's not representing As-Sabiqun in all of your newsletters. He ain't doing none of that. That's what they said. Famous, movement people you would know. They said, no, homeboy ain't doing that. Remember the building we was going to get? I said, well, here's the money. And never got the building. But you never heard me say, hey man, where's the building? Why you ain't get the building? I ain't never said a word.
I didn't know you gave money.
Yeah, that building. Hey, do you remember the building that we had looked at? It was supposed to be $700 or something other. I gave him the money. Yeah. Not only that, I bought a brand new computer and everything, and that's one computer to do videos and all of that. And he's a specialist in that. It don't make no difference because he's got a job. Who does he work for? Sears, and he works in the electronic department, and he's mobile. He can go anywhere in the United States, and he's got a job. That's a dead giveaway. Look, that is the deadest giveaway in the world.
National job.
A national job. Oh, next thing, where is he at? He's out there in Nevada. In Vegas, got a job, big old house. Remember that big old house? He got a big old house. Now, even if you wasn't suspicious, after a few weeks of being, you would have to be. We raised money years ago for Imam Jamil. He's right down there with his nose in it. He ain't raising no money, but he's getting all the information.
And then when he get married at night.
Huh?
Remember that, the marriage at night?
Oh.
The second wife?
Hey,
piety?
I've never seen a fat black man like that have action on girls like that. I said, this must be Casanova. He got something that I just can't see because he get a girl anytime he want and cut him loose and get another one. I said, maybe he got a good game and, anyway. whatever it is, maybe they like corpulent people. Corpulent is fat. So, long story short, it's one of them computers that do this stuff, video stuff, real good. If you name one of them, I'll...
Oh, Matt.
So I asked him, well, which one do you need? When he was here, got him on that. And when he got ready, he just packed up and left with the Mac and all the other computer gadgetry. And I haven't heard from him since. But you haven't heard me. Now I mentioned it. I mentioned in a khutbah about the fat black man years ago. Nobody knew what I was talking about. That was 5, 6 years ago. What I'm trying to say is this stuff is so repetitive and so silly that delay is not denial. Their goal was always denial of our goals. They're going to deny. What's your goal? I would tell them my goal. We know that's the first thing you don't do if you want to get somewhere. You don't even tell your friends you're trying to get there. Usually, like Imam Ali said, don't tell people your goals. And technically it's right, unless it's psychological guerrilla warfare. Tell them your goals. And tell them concisely, where they're clear, concise, and with clarity. So they'll go through their changes to deny you getting there. Right? That's why we say delay is not denial. Why? Denial to us translates to falling into our trap. What trap is that? Delay. Even up to now, we tell them, I go. The one I just showed y'all, design destiny, goals. Everything, goals, everywhere. It's getting so old, it's kind of ridiculous. Of baiting them into doing exactly what we want. We're going to use delay anyway. Because delay has always been so successful. And it's according to Hadith. And they don't know that we've been doing everything we have been doing according to Hadith from a long time ago. I'll give you an idea. Free. Masjid al-Islam. This is the last poets. This is November 21st, 1982. Donnell Hall in Berkeley. Okay. Suleiman al-Hadi, Brother Umar, and his brother, name slipped my tongue.
Salahuddin.
No, not Salahuddin. He wasn't there with him. This is Jamal, something. Anyway, this is 82. The Dar is getting ready to break up. It's in the process of, this is what Jelani is being and all of that. So we're ranking on first base about everything that's going on in the Islamic movement East Coast. Why? Because of they're filling us in on everything. But here's the hadith. Aisha radiallahu anha reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept a pulpit within the mosque for Hassan, that he might take his stand thereon, to take pride in the Messenger of Allah, or to meet opposition. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say, verily Allah helps Hassan with the Holy Spirit, as long as he meets opposition and takes pride in the Messenger of Allah. This is Bukhari. The last poets, and they're satirizing orations. They satirized the white man. How to pump the FBI? Satirizing the enemy here, 2007? No. Actually, that's 25, is that 30 years? There's a 30-year gap. There's a 30-year difference in this. That's 29, 30, something like that. 2007.
23.
23. Between 82 and 2007. Yes. Something like that. Yes. That's a long time. How to pump the FBI. Aisha, the people, all they looked at was how to pump the FBI. They never read the hadith. Aisha radiallahu anha reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept a pulpit within the mosque for Hassan ibn Thabit, that he might take his stand thereon and take pride in the Messenger of Allah, or to meet opposition. She reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say, satirize the Quraysh, and verily it is more severe on them than the throwing of arrows. That's Sahih Muslim. She also reported, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say to Hassan, verily, the Holy Spirit, that is Angel Jibril, will not cease to help you so long as you meet opposition for the sake of Allah and His Messenger. She said, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, Hassan satirized them, and it will cure Muslims and also cure himself. This is Sahih Muslim. So what are these hadith? This is psychological guerrilla warfare. When did it start? For us, it's not new. Satirizing the enemy, this is the first time it's on here, but people will think that we cranked this out then, but they read how to pump the FBI. I don't have the back end, but it's all satirizing, making fun of yes.
See, the hadith is in fine print.
Right.
And that's the way it is in this country. That's what always get them is the fine print. They never read the fine print. That's why the title always jams them up.
But see, if there was no, remember our flyers are always constructed that if you read the flyer, you don't have to come to the program. The flyer is more deadly than the program. We got used to them keeping people away from programs, that our program would be the flyer. Get the flyer out to all of Masjid. They read the flyer, we could care less whether you come. The program is empty, but the people got the flyer. The point is, psychological guerrilla warfare is not a 2009. It's not 2007. It starts way back here, but it has evolved. It's evolving all along. They satirize the enemy. This is where the idea comes from. The hadith, oh, the poets is coming. So what do the poets do that's beneficial to Islam? In those days, we knee deep in hadith all day long. Wait just a minute. They satirize. This hadith, bam. And we got this, we look at this every couple of years, so it keeps us fresh. The point is, all of the stuff happens now is recycled. We've been through this many times before. We've been through it, yes. Each level is an evolution. That's why, de-Israelization and evolution of the Islamic movement in North America. Of course, back here we got what de-Israelization is, re-Africanization, Islam, space awareness, all of that. This is all strategy and planning, put right there in front of them. Because what are they going to do? We may not go, we're going to do this maybe 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years. But what are we going to do? Remember the thing about warfare in the old days. Chinese warfare, it says, attack at the 3rd blow of the bugle. You remember everybody used to line up and they get, okay. Everybody charged up. It's just like you're getting ready. Suppose you're getting ready for a 15 round of 9-12, I guess. And the fight's supposed to be at 5 o'clock. You all ready, you all juiced up, you all warmed up. Then they said the fight is delayed to 7 o'clock.
You off key.
You way off key. Supposing you try to calm down, you try to, and then you're there at 7, ready to go. You got yourself back together as much as you can. But that great boiler room explosive is already gone, the first one. The second one, you done rekindled bits and pieces of it and refocused. Then they said, well, we're going to have a fight. The fight goes on at 9 o'clock, Caesar's Palace. We got such happened. The cable network blew up, or whatever it is. You haven't paid no attention to none of that. You didn't help arrange all of that. You're ready for the 9 o'clock fight, the 3rd blast of the bugle. You go in ready to go. This guy is already disorientated. Where did you stop? I didn't even know what we was doing and name till I read this stuff in the Chinese war. Half of the stuff we do, when I read the books on strategic management and warfare and all that, then I said, oh, this is what you call this. I'm telling you.
The first time I heard that or saw that in effect was in Book of the 5 Rings.
Yes, that's where I named it from 36 strategies. You know, but that's a Chinese thing. Book of the
5 Rings. He was waiting on the island for and delayed the guy and made him impatient. And soon, I think he whooped him with a boat oar.
That's what I'm saying. This is what we do. We put out all of this, and here they come, attack after attack after attack. When we out there in Oakland, remember we called it, oh, there's such a spirited time, and it was. They expected me to be mad, to go, everybody coming by, let me leave this pistol here. I said, I don't want no guns. Don't worry about this. I was telling them, I do this all the time. They didn't believe it. Okay. So, then, finally, we go them into, they just diffusing themselves until they so exposed that they just look ridiculous. Everything, even, remember I told you they stole my phone or something with the videos that I had got of them on one, I got some of it, but the one with Khadijah bumping me and punching me, she did it twice, and I couldn't prove it. Everybody there was on her team, and it was in the kitchen. But did you watch that video when I called them a bunch of bitches and punks and stuff? The one that's from Oakland.
When you were outside?
Outside,
yeah.
Okay.
I finally watched it.
Okay, but here's the thing. First of all, they edited the thing.
Okay.
That's the same one when I'm talking, remember I'm talking to you, and I said, okay, here they come, and then they don't know all that's going on. But if you watched it, did you see one time when Khadijah came around the side and she actually clipped? Okay.
Right.
So.
Because they kind of cut that off.
But still you could see it. What is a man done having his wife come around messing with another man? And the one where she attacked me from behind, remember I bought my shirt? And I gave the eye about Joseph, the shirt is torn from behind.
Right.
You know, it's her. If it's torn from the front, I'm trying to, and I showed you the label of the shirt. Then it was tore off of me, she attacked me from behind. But they got away with that, and I didn't get it on video. But this other, I got it on video. I had to re-engineer them to do that, because I didn't have no proof. So I re-engineered them to do that. And all that stuff that I'm talking, oh, you ain't nothing but a bunch of punks and bitches and da-da-da-da-da. I'm doing that on purpose. And remember when I'm talking to you on the phone after that, I said, well, it's just all over this stuff, da-da-da-da. Do it sound like that I'm all, no, I just run.
Sounds like you do when you give coupon.
Yeah, it's fun. This is the point. Never underestimate yourself. Niggas got a lot of sense. You just have to develop. And never think that the white man got anywhere near as much sense as you do. He has the institutional power. He plans ahead and he studies us. That's what gives him ups. But if you do the same thing, you'll beat him every time. Because right now, he's in a decline. Everything, he ain't nothing work. Since World War II, he lost in Korea, stalemate. Definitely didn't win in Vietnam. And the only fight he might have won is he went to Grenada and shot a few niggas back in the 80s, 87 or something. He didn't win in Iraq with all that firepower. They might have thought they won the 91 Iraq war, but they wound up losing because they put Iran in pocket. In fact, that might have been the payoff for way back when. And that's what I always suspect. Anyway, I'll move toward a close. The point I'm making is not only how to punk the FBI, but our policy on satirizing, on humiliating the enemy is as simple as simple strategy. Satirize. You're fighting a big enemy with everything physical in his hand, and you are empty-handed. So you have to draw imagery. You have to make him worry about you more than you worry about him. Now I'll ask everybody a question. Do you think that they pay more attention to me than I pay to them? It's very simple. Yes, they can't sleep. They got something. If they didn't, they wouldn't be coming up with something new every day, every other. So they're paying attention.
Close attention.
They're paying concrete attention. They wouldn't be stopping me here, wouldn't be doing this, wouldn't be doing. They got to be paying attention. Yes.
Remember, they had two of our heroes. That's what they did. Jack Johnson and Muhammad Ali. They satirized their enemy in the ring, out the ring. You know, that's what they did.
And we told them that's what we're going to do. Jack Johnson and Muhammad Ali. That was 2007. That's almost 10 years ago. But we've always told them what we were going to do. That's what makes it more humiliating. The people cannot say, you were lucky. Can't say that. If they were, we can give them flyer after flyer, lecture after lecture, harassment after harassment. We're not lucky. We didn't just stumble into slapping the white man upside the head. We planned it, we organized it. Each time. And we tricked him. He ain't never tricked us. The thing about it, and I'll move toward a close, the thing about this last thing about the money, the other thing that was in my mind was, I'm going to treat this like a big bust in the old days, you know, when they try to bust you. First of all, they got case after case, and a state case, then they have finally a big federal case. And by the time they come down on you with the big federal case, you're going to spend all your money, all your friends, and run away from you. You know what I mean? You hot, as they say. It's just normal. That's their procedure. And I looked at that case like that, but this is the final big stage, and this is the big case, okay? Number one, I treated it like a case, except for one thing. You can't do nothing to me. When I was in the dunya, and I was selling your drugs, and I was doing things that you didn't set in motion, but they're illegal, and you can say, I don't know nothing about it. You can't, all you can do is do those things, but you can't produce what I'm supposed to do. You see what I mean? They still have the authority to do dumb stuff, but they can't make me do nothing. Why? I ain't doing nothing. Innocent as the day is long. Right? Innocent. I don't sell no drugs. It is nothing wrong with Islam. It's good. What we're the good guys. Now it's Bible. And we let them know, you're the bad guys. You're the liar. You lie about your Constitution. You lie about everything. You ain't nothing but a bum and a liar. And you got one nigga, just one nigga, causing you all of this upset. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got the courts, that's your team. You got the police, that's your team. You got Army, Navy, Marine Corps. You got a budget with I don't know how many snitches.
The media.
The media, everything on your side, and you can't do nothing. You ought to be ashamed. You ought to quit, sucker. That's what we tell them. That's what we're telling them now. Good.
It don't, none of that works because you won't do right.
Well, he won't do right, and it's his time to go. See, that's the thing about it is, that's the secret of everything. Why everything work right for us? Because it's his time to go. It don't make no difference. When he was killing Indians, enslaving niggas, so what? Allah just said in the Quran, he got it hooked up for everybody to see what they do. They're on the ascendancy. The Indians could have hooked up all the engines in the U.S. It wouldn't have stopped the flow because Allah already got it. We're going to get him through, we're going to hand him everything. We're going to hand him World War I, hand him World War II, and he's the champion of the world. And he don't lose nothing hardly. Europe is shattered. Japan is shattered. Russia lost, they say, probably more than that, 20 million people. Shattered. USA had not one bomb. There was a rumor that a balloon bomb. Japan used to, the jet airstream, so they used to put little bombs on weather balloons. It is said that one fell in Oregon out in the woods somewhere. Yes. Is it?
Now, for every community and every nation, Allah said there's a time.
There's a time.
You get your time, and when your time is up, ain't nothing you can do about it, it's up.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. The other time is when your time has come. That's our time. That's why they can't do, that's why bullets, everything bounce off. Because it's our time. But we're not no damn fool. We're not going to do like them. Don't mean, I don't have to train. People do that, they do. I'm Iron Mike. I'm such and such. I'm a tough nigga. Oh no. I'm a bad nigga. I talk to the white man like he a dog. We know that, but we're not going to sit back and not train and not be grateful. That's why I'm going to close with this. We are thankful to play this part and to play it in this way, and we're not going to dishonor all the people that were slaughtered and run over by this white man. We're not going to dishonor them by taking a piece of the pie for ourselves or anything stupid, and we're not going to turn no nigga. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're going to honor this. This is hey. So if you ask for something, Allah give it to you, you should be forever grateful and thankful. The last thing, or one of the last, ability to learn in public. The ability to learn in public. That's what we're doing. We put everything right out in front. We've been doing it for a long time. Because he has so many snitches, so much. So why try to keep anything secret? I tell some of our brothers, because they're governmental, so they believe in da. So one of the brothers who was doing us a favor, one of the big shots, was setting up something. There's two things they were setting up. One, we want you to come to our country, this is not a work. We want you to bring your family, we want you and you know, the foreign ministries have houses, and not palaces, but they're nice places. And you stay there, that's where you stay, you know, when they hook you up. If they want to make fun of you, they'll put you in a back room. I ain't going to talk about it. Last time I was there, they took me from a nice joint and they was trying to be funny to make me mad. So they put me in a back room, almost in a basement, you know, just to be funny. I said, fine. So they got his other snitches. How is your accommodations? Wonderful. Do you want to move somewhere else? No. I like it here, in the shit house. I want to stay here in the shit house. This is where you got me, I'm staying. But anyway, so no. So the reason that they was doing that is because they had heard that I was getting a divorce from Sister Bahia. They wanted us to stay together at the very time. How did I know that's what they wanted? It was written all over them. The other thing is, before, not long before that, the guy was telling me, now don't tell anybody this, especially, he didn't say your wife, but I have to find out how everybody's connected. So, it's very simple. I've known who Sister Bahia was from day one, from before she got married. Why? Because Abdul-Malik was telling me I'm trying to get my ex-wife, which she's married again, to come out here, and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. And they come, and he's telling me for 2 or 3 years, she'll make someone a wonderful wife. And I'm telling them, I don't want to be married. You may not know it, I'm the happiest person in the world. You know, right in the masjid by myself. I don't want to be bothered. Finally, I did it when I wanted to. They thought they didn't set it up. But I would tell every time I come from such a place or something, and I have a big stack of money, I say, yeah, my homeboys fix me up, or other big secrets. And it would get back to them. So the only way you can get back to them, either they'd have bugged my house, or she's telling Abdul Malik, and Abdul Malik is hooked with, remember, the Uncle Tom crew. See, they're not that sharp that a nigga gonna find out. I told people here over a decade ago, about 15 years ago, I said, take Oakland and draw lines. Connecting lines. I'll tell them everything. Do not be afraid to learn in public. And don't be afraid to teach in public. Most of the time, ain't nobody gonna get it. They can't get it because they're not effective. And we're happy as we can be. So I'm assuming either the shaitan pulled the whole super duper deal and making us think that we're winning and putting it on TV that we're winning and all the books say we're winning. And they got snot running out of their nose and their eyes all puffed up and the Saudis went crazy. You know what I mean? And either they're tricking us that everything is going our way, or we didn't whoop them. And I'll definitely close with this. I feel that there's just mystery in the movement. It's really like, you know, as good as the movie the other day was one, Denzel, Magnificent Seven. It's actually boring. All they can do is shoot up stuff. I haven't seen a thought-provoking movie. There's no movie better than Life. It's in the news. It's front page stuff. All the people you know, all so-and-so, there he is in the news. Or somebody that stole something that you said, and they saying it, and you know they stole it from you because it ain't come out of their mouth. Adventure, drama, suspense. Hey man, that's what the movement is. It's like, I don't know what to say. It's a pleasure. And I think we done corral old white man that he can't hurt nobody. Because we done got everybody looking at him. It's like dry snitching. You know, when you do something in the line, and we used to do something with a white boy, he'd jump out of the line and just look at you. Cut it out! And he won't say what you did, and then stand there outside the line looking at the police. He's dry snitching. We call that dry snitching. He ain't told on you, but he has told on you. You know, so that's what we've done to him. The air war. All the people. We done told on anything happened, the world will investigate those people. If they look at one video, they're going to look at another. If they look at another, 3 or 4 videos going to give them more game than all the CNN they can watch for 50 years. So everybody's trapped. Their hands is tied. We done handcuffed the cracker. Plus, this is we don't allow them, you know, like people trying to bring us guns doing all of this. Oh, no. We got a gun, then that's what they want us to have a gun. And I'm telling her, you can't give me no gun. And don't you come by here with no gun. I don't want nobody. It's on my team. I ain't gonna pat you down, but you can't have no gun. I'm loud talking too. Right? They coming with guns. These dumb niggas come to the masjid. Yeah. in shooting positions at noon. And they all got guns. And it's on the camera, you know, the street camera for the stoplight is pointed right at the Masjid. Perfect view. The police, several cars drive by, and one policewoman in a solid black car takes a phone picture of me. Nobody come and ask, what's going on here? We heard there's guns all everywhere. They said that. The only thing one of the neighbors said, I called the police and tell them it was things running up here, and they went the other way. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, that's what they're supposed to do. But anyway, so we'll close with that by saying that we go out to Oakland, we're going on our terms. But there's one last thing. There's no hostility for any group, for any people. The things that the people do are really nasty stuff. But we know that Allah has given us kindness and humor, you know, and optimism. Kindness, humor, and optimism. So that's from 2009, but we've been using it. And when Allah gives you something, use it. If He don't give you something, don't worry about it. The last thing to remember, the highest level of satisfaction and comfort and love and trust in Allah is when you know that anything that missed you, it was supposed to miss you. And anything that hit you, it was supposed to hit you. But that's deep though.
It is deep.
Yeah.
It's deep.
So, are there any questions or comments?
Yeah, you know, you was talking about people getting disorientated. They had a dude in a baseball game one night. This dude was throwing a no-hitter all the way to the sixth inning. And then the rain came. They had a delay for about, I guess maybe about an hour and 10 minutes. They put him back in the game. He came back out to the mound, and everything he threw up there after that looked like softballs. I mean, they rocked him. They rocked him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Because he was up at first, and then when that delay came, it took all his enthusiasm, all his energy away from it.
That
delay.
delay and
Yeah.
that water running there, he
Yeah.
probably got hit with a little water before he went in and cooled it off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thrown him all off. He probably wasn't no teenager anyway.
No, he wasn't.
And so, yeah, delay.
That's a sports strategy.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever you playing a basketball game, right,
Yeah.
that stuff get to running real good.
Yeah.
The other coach that is being run on, he called timeout to break that momentum.
Break that
And
momentum.
usually it works.
It does work.
Because to get that stuff got back going again, it take a minute.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that delay calling timeout, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is what we're well pleased with Allah, and we hope Allah is well pleased with us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.